With Riri Williams suiting up as the new Iron Man under the superhero name Ironheart, here's 17 other characters, aside from Tony Stark, who have worn the Iron Man armor. James "Rhodey" Rhodes was originally Tony Stark's personal pilot, but with Tony too drunk and self-loathing to stop the supervillain Magma, Rhodey had no choice but to hop into the armor and save the day. Rhodey wore the armor many times after that and eventually started calling himself War Machine, with a new suit packed with extra firepower. No longer a silly what-if concept, Aunt May suited up in an old Iron Man suit along with Mary Jane so they could join Spider-Man in invading Dr. Doom's castle to use Doom's time machine. This allowed them to travel back and observe the fateful day when Ben and Mary Parker left their son Peter in the care of Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Aww. It's also worth noting, recently Mary Jane took a job at Stark Industries and put on the Iron Spider suit in order to help Iron Man and Spider-Man take down the villain known as Regent. In a future story set in the year 2020, Arno Stark is the son of Tony's sinister cousin, Morgan. Arno has taken over Stark Industries and the Iron Man armor, which he uses to wreak chaos and hire himself out as a mercenary. But with the actual 2020 fast approaching, Marvel reimagined Arno as Tony's adoptive brother. Turns out that Tony was adopted and Arno is the true son of Stark, hidden away due to a debilitating medical condition. However, that didn't stop Arno from teaming up with his brother in his own Iron Man armor to help him fight the villain Malekith. When Spider-Man bad guy Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, took over the world, he inherited Tony Stark's armor, gave it a new paint job, and introduced himself to the public as Iron Patriot. He headed up his own team of Dark Avengers, with him awkwardly filling the role of both Iron Man and Captain America. During their final confrontation, Tony took advantage of Osborn wearing one of his suits and disabled it with a hack, finally defeating Osborn and ending his dark reign over the world. During that same Dark Reign story, Pepper Potts became the hero rescue, with armor more geared towards saving civilian lives than battling angry supervillains. In the pivotal issue Iron Man number 300, Tony was left comatose after battling the villain Ultimo. In his place, War Machine led a team of Tony's allies and former enemies: Happy Hogan, Bethany Cabe, Eddie March, Carl Walker, and Eddie O'Brien, most of whom had worn the armor before. Happy in particular used to play Iron Man to help maintain his boss's secret identity. Forming the Iron Legion, each of them donned one of Tony's vintage Iron Man suits and battled Ultimo just long enough for Tony to revive and debut his swanky modular armor. When Tony Stark emerged from the Heroes Reborn pocket universe in the late 90s, he discovered that his company had been taken over by a Japanese businessman and rebranded Stark Fujikawa. That is, until a villain named Clarence Ward brought the company crashing down by stealing one of Tony's Iron Man armors and using it to murder the board of directors. Ward perished in battle with the real Iron Man shortly after, but the ordeal left scars that still affect Tony today. Obsessed with Iron Man, the criminal Weasel Willis, a villain name if you've ever heard one, was the first character to steal the Iron Man mantle from Tony Stark. He stole Tony's trademark briefcase armor and went on a destructive rampage across the city. This was way back before Tony had a full armory of extra suits, so he was forced to get back into his old Mark I armor. Tony used the old Homer Simpson approach, absorbing a bunch of damage with his bulkier, more durable suit until Weasel wasted all of his energy. Marvel's Bullet Points comics explore what-if scenarios, and one saw Dr. Erskine killed before he turned Steve Rogers into a hunky enforcer of justice with Project Rebirth. He instead was put through Project Iron Man, where his weak body became permanently grafted to a massive, indestructible suit of armor. That's morbid and disgusting, but it helped them win the war. Deadpool was once hired to sabotage Tony Stark's business empire by convincing him to start drinking again. Instead, Wade wound up renewing Tony's commitment to sobriety and then borrowing the Iron Man armor to have a little fun. For one day, Deadpool became the Armored Avenger, and because he was seriously drunk the entire time, technically Wade fulfilled his contract. With Galactus about to devour the Earth and Tony Stark preoccupied, Squirrel Girl took the liberty of borrowing a few pieces of scrap armor and designing herself a custom Iron Man suit, including armor for her tail, which let her fly to the moon and stop Galactus. Thanks to Tony's garbage and the universal appeal of nuts, she saved the day. Even Green Lantern Hal Jordan once wore the Iron Man armor, sort of. In the mid-90s, Marvel and DC spawned a mashup universe called Amalgam that fused iconic Marvel and DC characters. Tony Stark and Hal Jordan combined to form Hal Stark, a hotshot billionaire who owns an aircraft manufacturer. He gains possession of a powerful armored suit from an alien named Roman Sur, becoming the Iron Lantern. The hero was short-lived, but it was a lot of fun. Those are our favorite times other characters suited up in the Iron Man armor. Go to the comments and let us know your favorite person to pilot the suit. And for all your Iron Man needs, keep it here on IGN.